This week, our herbal monograph feature is oregano leaf. Thanks for joining us on the farm and welcome back to another herbal monograph Monday. We're sneaking outside today before it gets too hot, as it's been in the 90s and on up to 100 around here. This week's feature is oregano, which is known mostly as a culinary plant, but is also gaining popularity as a medicinal, and it's something that we don't go without here. Oregano comes from the same family as mint, and so they look very similar. They have the long stems with the flat same leaves as a mint plant, and they grow in much the same way. So an oregano plant is usually planted in the form of a cutting. Now you can do that yourself from a plant that you have access to, or you can purchase the cuttings as potted plants at your local nursery, which is what we did. We have a couple of plants on the farm here. We have one in our greenhouse and we have one in our original pallet garden beds. Now the thing that's different with an oregano plant is that it's not going to take over like a mint plant. It's a bunching plant, much like lemon balm, which is also in the mint family. I'm going to put the botanical name here for you, and also the botanical name for the mint family right here. Oregano also has several common names such as mountain mint, oil of oregano, Spanish thyme, winter sweet, wild marjoram, and winter marjoram. Oregano is highly aromatic. It's got a bitter taste to it, and it's a very warming herb. It's going to help bring some heat to those areas in the body that need it. Oregano is most commonly used as a culinary herb, especially in Italian dishes such as pizza, pasta, lasagna. It can be used to season chicken and put into salad. And it also makes an excellent pesto. If you have an abundance of oregano, that's a quick, easy way to use it. When you're harvesting your oregano, you want to break it off about midway down the stem of the plant so that there's plenty of leaves left on your plant for it to continue growing. Preferably, you want to harvest that before it starts to flower. You can see here that I didn't quite catch mine in time. And the reason that you want to harvest it before it flowers is because that's when it's going to have the most oils in it and have the most flavor and potency when using medicinally. Before we dive in, I just want to mention that I am not a doctor or a naturopath, and that this is just informational. For full disclosure, please check out the notes below. Oregano can be used in a tincture, in a tea, as a salve, infused into an oil for culinary purposes, as we mentioned before. My favorite way to use oregano, other than cooking with it, is as an extract. We always have this on hand for sinus, cold, and upper respiratory issues. While it's super spicy to use directly, I place it under my tongue for any sinus issues, as I have a lot of food allergies that cause sinus infections, and this will help prevent those from getting super bad. Oregano oil is also known to be a natural antibiotic, and so it's another great reason to keep it on hand. Using oregano for sinus infections and upper respiratory health is just a few of the things that oregano oil is helpful for. To dive a little bit deeper into the respiratory health that oregano oil can assist with, it can help with allergies and with asthma, as well as coughs, colds, the flu, and even croup. It can also help to loosen phlegm in the respiratory system. Oregano oil is also useful for the digestive system, such as for parasites and stomach aches. Oregano oil can also be used topically in the form of an essential oil, an infused oil, and or a salve. Those methods would be helpful for things like headaches, sores, wounds, dandruff, athlete's foot, and joint pain, and as an insect repellent. The main component in oregano oil is carvacrol. I'm probably not saying that right, which is an antioxidant. If you're buying oregano oil already tinctured or infused, you're going to want to look for a really high percentage of that, because that's going to have the most antioxidants in it. and that oil will be the most useful to you. Oregano oil is not only antibiotic, but it's also antibacterial, anti-inflammatory, and an antiseptic, and many of those properties lend the oil to be cleaning and purifying. When using oregano as a tea, it's most helpful for the upper respiratory system during colds and coughs, and even when you have the flu. It can also be placed in a bowl of hot water and used as a steam to help release the pressure in the sinuses and to help clear phlegm and congestion quicker. There are a couple of precautions when you're using oregano oil. It is a very strong and volatile oil. It's very spicy. When you take it orally, most especially with an oil or a tincture, you want to know that it is super strong. It could burn. You may want to dilute it a little bit and just use a small amount. It's probably not something that I would give children orally because of the strength. If you're using it as an essential oil, you want to make sure you dilute it before applying it to the skin. Do not use it directly. You will burn yourself with this. It is a very strong, potent plant. Also, you're going to want to test in a small area for skin sensitivity and make sure you're not ultra sensitive to this before you use it, and do that after you've diluted the oil. You also want to keep it away from any sensitive areas on the skin, including around the eyes and inside the ears. That concludes our herbal monograph for the day. I am going to go tie this up and hang dry it so that I can use it in some teas and maybe tincture my own. Leave us a comment down below and let us know, have you used oregano oil before? What have you used it for? And if you haven't, do you plan to? And what form sounds most appealing to you? We will see you Wednesday for another quick win on how to brew tea, another kitchen tip and or gardening tip. Until then, bye. Farm.
Fiacre.
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 Thanks for joining us on the farm.